It's your boy Romance coming through with another video for this nice, fine March morning. And I'm sending out to all my new peoples on YouTube and all my old peoples. I got a lot of MGTOW brothers joining me on Facebook because I've really joined hardcore the MGTOW community. So for my old followers, yeah, I know I sold this to you as a history and music channel, and now it's a men's rights channel. It won't always be that way. I don't want to just totally do men's rights, but right now I'm not feeling history. I'm doing a little bit of my music here and there, but for the most part, like, this is what's consuming my mind. Like, this is really positive for me. It's actually, I don't know, like, somehow it's just making me feel better. But anyway, I thought I would go over, now for all the, like, for hardcore MGTOW out there, you might want to, like, this, I'm asking you to, like, muddle through this video just because I'm going to do some basic 101 shit for my old followers and for the, you know, for the new MGTOW hardcore heads out there. I have some questions because I'm going to do terminology today. We're going to do basic 101 MGTOW terminology, and there's two things that I want to I feel need to have terms, and I don't know if we have them yet, so I'm asking the brothers out there. But first, let's get into terminology, okay, with MGTOW. And again, this isn't for the MGTOW people. Y'all already know what this is. This is for the ignorant masses out there who are about to not be ignorant so much longer because we're blowing up and we're going to take the world right back, and things will be good again. But the first is this is the cry. The first term we're going to go over is two terms. One, the first is the cry of you know, people men who still believe in women and fight for their rights, white knights. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this is the acronym NAWALT, not like all women out there. Okay, it's another word for what we call a unicorn. Okay, that's what you think. Like, you think that there's some special women that aren't going to fuck you over and that won't use all these rights that they have against you in court and won't, like, leave you high and dry. That they're not, you know, that somehow she's different than everyone. You got to get that out of your head. Most women aren't. It's not like feminism is as malicious as it seems. It is natural. They're kind of being cajoled into this by the government. They just don't realize, you know, the magnanimity of what they're doing. They just want the easy thing in front of them. So the other term, you can see it down there, is AWALT. That's what us MGTOW say to people who tell us NAWALT. All women are like that, okay? That's what you have to start to get that in your head so you don't get smoked. Think that. All right, the next term we're going to talk about is haloing. Haloing, and I know I'm so high-tech on this channel. Haloing is when you are in the dating scene and when someone is so beautiful, this happens to both women and men, when someone is so damn gorgeous, you just don't even notice all their other shortcomings. When they just look so good, you forget that they're an asshole or that they have something about them that you normally wouldn't like on somebody else who doesn't look as good. That is called haloing. Now, this one we went over yesterday on my channel. This is shit tests. Shit tests are little things that little questions women ask, little projects, little comments they make, and that they kind of kick you into, and they don't really care about they're not asking you what they're really asking. They're probing into deeper things and judging you. Like when you order a plate of food, all right, woman doesn't order anything. You take a girl out to eat, she doesn't order anything. You order a big plate. She orders a salad or whatever, and she starts picking at your food. That's a shit test. She wants to see how far she can push you. All right. Patriarchy. This is the next term, okay? This is the idea that throughout history, up until women could vote in the somewhere between voting in 1919 and the women's rights, equal rights movement, women's lib in 1963 through 65, somehow women think that or feminists state that the whole world was, for all of history, was run by a patriarchy. It was a bunch of men who got together and said, yes, we're going to subdue women, we'll make them our slaves, we're going to control everything forever collectively, we're going to have a boys' club of the world. If you're dumb enough to believe something like that, there wasn't a patriarchy. There was plenty of women in charge. Women worked. Women, and it's like, as far as like, all right, women got to vote in 1919. Do you know when men who didn't own land or weren't white got to vote? It was like 18 years before that. It was not like women suffered for fucking millions of years without voting, and it's not like voting really does much shit anyway. How many of you voted and you didn't? No, the electoral college won. So patriarchy, when a feminist uses that word, she's losing the argument. It's usually a good sign, because she'll throw that, like, as soon as you make a point that she can't refute, patriarchy. Well, the whole world's a patriarchy. That women's violence against women, 1 out of 4 women will be raped. Like, one of those things that we can't, like, do anything about. Like, men are statistically more violent than women. Like, what do you want us to fucking do about it? So that's patriarchy is one of those things. Okay, that's one of those, like, arguments we can't win. You know what I mean? Men have ruled everything forever, and now we need to take it back. Patriarchy is bad. By the way, patriarchies are good. Okay, if you didn't know, like, there's an order behind it. Almost all the animals, and there's a couple animals in the animal kingdom. There's one animal of all the primates that is not patriarchal. It's matriarchal. It's baboons. They're the most fucked up of all the primates. I would never want to be a baboon, bro. They live in fucked up societies. It's violent. Women don't have any rights. Like, even though they're on top of it, in charge, they get fucked up. They get smoked. They get beaten, raped. Everything among baboon society. So, again, it's just, anyway, patriarchy. Next term is 2 terms. It's suffragette and temperance. You can't really read my chicken scratch there, but all right. What a suffragette is, a suffragist is anyone who's trying to get their right to vote. A suffragette with an E-T-T-E on the end is the women in 1919 who were fighting for their right to vote. Okay. And they also fought against, the way they got their right to vote was by helping politicians who didn't like alcohol prohibit alcohol. They both happened in this, like, the same 2-3 year time period, prohibition and women's rights. So temperance is prohibition. It's women who wanted to get rid of alcohol, and most of them are suffragettes as well. The problem, and this is how modern feminism got started. This is the backbone of historical feminism. The funny thing is, 92% of snowflake ass social justice warriors out there can't even spell either of those 2 words, much less describe the meaning of them to you. Next term, white knights, right? These are the guys that are still sticking up for women's rights. They come at, like, us guys, us MGTOW, us men's rights activists, us guys are sticking up for men's rights. They're like, how dare you? Don't you have any respect for women? They're the guys, like, you see them on the news all the time, like, attacking, like, on debates and stuff, like, attacking other men. Like, sometimes they'll get, like, you know, real anti-man men on the news. Like, those are white knights. Those are guys who, like, they love their slavery. I don't. I love freedom. I'll always fight for it. All right, next on the list is pickup artists. Okay, pickup artist is a weird term because I always thought pickup artists meant player. Pickup artists are not players. The pickup artists are incels. They're guys that can't get laid, that are doing everything in their power to get laid, to break out of that. I think I'm getting this term right. And they use all kinds of talents and, you know, like, game is what they call it, like the ability to speak, the ability to communicate, the ability to, like, hustle your pussy, I guess is the best way to put it. So pickup artists are a lot of guys that are, like, short, like a lot of Asian guys are in it, because women, and especially on dating sites, even Asian women are ruthless about dating other Asian men. Like, Asian men got it pretty bad in the Western world in the dating scene. There's a lot of this. You know, like, guys that have disabilities and stuff like that. Like, it's all part of the pickup artist community. And there's guys that are perfectly normal. There's guys that are, like, lead seminars on how to pick up chicks and stuff like that. I think I've been a pickup artist most of my life. You know, I mean, I look at this. This is not that I can't compete with Brad Pitt with this, but put a mic in my hand and I'm banging the Tom Brady's girlfriend or something the next day. I definitely never banged Gisele Bündchen, but I did have a lot of experiences with quarterbacks' girlfriends in my life, and I've never even earned a varsity letter. So, you know, alpha world. MRA, MRM, all right? That's the Men's Rights Association and the Men's Rights Movement. Now, both of these accept women. There are women involved, and I'm thankful that there's women out there trying to help our movement. It's just that movement isn't getting anything done. They've gotten one thing done, and I think it's something like women now have to, in order to be in the service, they have to register for, so, like, somehow women have to, either men no longer have to it was like a meaningless Pyrrhic victory. They won something about the drafts, and we haven't had a draft in almost 50 years, so it was like no big deal. Like they didn't do it, but they're and a lot of them are older. Like the younger guys aren't MRAs, we're MGTOW. The old heads, like the dudes that were around in the '60s, and they think they're gonna just be the reverse feminists. That's what MRA is. They don't get a lot of respect from us MGTOW. MGTOW, there's no women. This is just a philosophy. Men do their own thing. A woman can't possibly be part of it, so that's why it's safe and effective for you. Incel, involuntary celibate, guys that can't get laid. Right now, like I said this stat yesterday. All right, on Tinder is one of the major dating sites of the world right now. Okay, on Tinder, across the board, all of the women collectively on Tinder only like 20%, or only are willing to date 20%, 1/5 of the men on it. So the other 80%, why are they even bothering with it? You know what I'm saying? But they're in there playing that game and getting shit on and getting belittled and just making it worse on themselves. So, you have this big, like women are not just pairing up with people. Women are going after their dreams with mates, and then, there's only so many of the desirable ones out there, you know what I mean, in the market, the sexual marketplace. So the other 80% of us are like, what do we do? You know what I mean? So we're at least trying. And that's incels, and a lot of them are MRAs. At least trying, involuntarily celibate. All right, this term. This is a big one, okay? Know this. Monkey branching. Monkey branching is the practice that, like, all right, you start dating a girl, all right? You do nothing wrong and you're a perfectly good boyfriend. All of a sudden you find out, like, oh, man, she's dating another dude. What she did was she went out with you, all right? And then she, like, got in your circle. And then slowly but surely, either while she was with you or even when she was apart with you, she found somebody better through the internet, through social media, through school, through whatever. A girl will there's an instinct. It's instinctual for a woman she'll never be loyal. A woman's innate desire is to continuously monkey branch her way up, because a man's, like, the purpose of a man is to spread seeds. The purpose of a woman is to find a provider and to make children and to have somebody provide for those children. That's like what they're looking for, okay? So once you naturally, they're going to, like, just like you naturally as a man can't, like, even if you're, like, good to your woman and you don't fuck other women, you still have an inclination to, you still want to, like, watch porn, your mind is set, you are programmed, hardwired to want to fuck many women, no matter how hard you try to be just with monogamous. No matter how hard a woman tries to just be monogamous, her brain is programmed to monkey branch. So you have to understand this and go into it knowing it. It's not even like they're doing it purposely or harmfully to you sometimes. It's just their nature to do this. It's what they're built to do. It's what their minds do. So you got to be aware of it, okay? Beware know that it's a term. Pump and dump, all right? If you're going to have sex as a MGTOW, that's the only true way you can do it, okay? No feelings. It's not, and again, it's a dangerous, slippery slope, because once you're alone, fortunately, I have, on the outside of that door, there's a camera, so I have proof at all times that a woman consensually came into my room. I didn't drag her, beat her over the head and drag her. I kind of like that. Loss of privacy, but safety's there. But anyway, it's a dangerous game to have sex, to have casual sex, because, I mean, anytime you're alone, once the door is closed, it's her word against yours. So, but catching feelings, long-term relationships, that's not my philosophy anymore, and I recommend it for all the brothers out there to start, you know what I mean? I don't mean go out and pump and dump bitches, but, like, the idea of having sex just to have sex, get your rocks off and do not fucking become attached at all. I don't know what the big deal is with that, why that's such a terrible thing for men to say, because they're basically going to pump and dump you anyway, so what's the difference? All right, fine. All right, now this is simping. Simping is basically a term for, like, it's sympathizing, okay? Those are like there's women. There's a girl I watch. She gets called a simp all the time by feminists. She's an ex-feminist that is now like on the MGTOW side. Her name's Karen Strawn. If we take the world back over, brothers, we should put a statue of her in bronze on the front of the fucking Capitol building, bro. This woman is saving us. She's a big weapon in our arsenal. Her, Milo Yiannopoulos, fucking Shapiro, Dr. Jordan Peterson, like these are the guys that are caring about what I need, okay? So Karen gets called a simp all the time. Men who stick up for women's rights, they're simping. Like all these anchor hosts that are like blasting male rights activists in front of feminists live on TV, those are simps. All right, and finally the last term is hypergamy. And hypergamy is, it's almost like monkey branching. It's the idea that you're always looking for a better mate, and I think it's something I might be wrong on this, but it has to do with the fact that, well, there's another term that I forgot to write down here. It's called the cock carousel. The idea that we now live in a world, especially now that there's social media, there's a setup where women have these harems of thousands of men in their life, these stockpiles of disposable men that they can just discard. And they can just keep going to, like once one dick's out, you can just find another one. That's called the cock carousel, and the idea that this exists is hypergamy. That women have this world set up for them where there's a constant influx of more suitors right there at your door, available, thousands waiting. You know, it's just like you might not like if women are out there complaining that they can't find good men. It's not that we're not out there. It's just that they don't like the ones that are available to them or that they can get. So, all right, so those are the terms that I want to convey, and then now I have some things that I think need terms. All right, number one is the idea that like I don't think there's a term for this, but follow me here. All right, MGTOW brothers. If a woman can only have a finite amount of children in her life, any woman. Like maybe at the top is like there's women in Africa with like 20 children or something like that, like. And then your uterus falls out. Like most women have like 3 tops, 4, whatever. There's like a finite amount. But there's no finite amount. Like you can, if the human race was dying, you can take any man and then get 1,000 like women that are ready to have a baby. And if he has sex with them, he impregnates them. If you line them all up, he can impregnate all 1,000 of them in one night, you know, or in 2 days, 3 days, a week, or whatever. Like that idea. It took a long time for me to explain it, and I hope you got it. But that's something that's not like consciously in our brain, but subconsciously, it's in all of our brains. We all know that, and we're all striving for that. I mean, that's why men like to watch a lot of lesbians and multiple girls, and I don't really even like to see other men in porn, because in my fantasy world, I am the only man. I'm the super alpha number one. It's just me and a bunch of virgins that I make babies with. You know what I'm saying? Every man thinks that way. It's just naturally like a Freudian thing that we do. So is there a term for that? Okay, and then also, I would like there to be a term for the fact that like somehow men have it like when a cop pulls you over, he sees you as a man. He doesn't have any sympathy for that. It's like, oh, that's an easy victim. But if he sees a girl, he has some sort of sympathy, and he lets her off. And that happens in like classrooms and when grading in school and like everywhere in society. Men have like even as parents, like even if I have a son and a daughter, I'm harder on my son because I know my daughter's gonna have somebody provide for them one day, but my son has to learn himself the hard way. Like, what is the name for that? Like, because that's definitely not equal. There's nothing I can see about that has anything to do with equality. So, and then finally, to anyone out there, I'm gonna start doing this. I'm actually just maybe a word of advice before I say it, but I want to just announce to everyone from my town and my high school that like now I want to call it the Husky Pack. All right. Any man that I know of, any man that can reach me, who is going through a divorce, going through a breakup, especially if you're being abused, you know, if you can prove that you're being abused and we can like accentuate that and like sue and you know get raw and fight back legally. But if you need a place to stay, look, this bed was where you will sleep, and then this floor is where I will sleep. That is all I can provide right now. But my dream is to make. There's like 2 women's shelters, I think there's 2,000 women's shelters in America. there's 2 for men. Like in the city of Toronto, there's something like 670 beds for abused and battered women. There's 2 or 1 for men, and it's never been used. Like, that's bullshit. So anyone who is going through a divorce, you're out on your ass. She's raking you over the coals. You need some brother that's been through it, and that can help you out. I'm definitely here. But before I announce that to the world, I'm wondering if it's a bad idea. So anyway, that's my show today. Please enjoy. Happy Friday. Yeah. 1 week from St. Patty's Day. No gigs till the 31st. By the way, I'm at the Funhouse the 31st. Peace. Yeah.